You ever get that feeling that someone's watching you? That weird prickling on the back of your neck? The uneasy weight in your gut telling you something isn't right? I've felt it before, sure. But there's one place, one stretch of trail, where it happens every single time. And the last time I went there, I swore I'd never go back. It's a hiking route I've done for years, a beautiful trail that winds through dense forests, rolling hills, and breathtaking valleys. But there's a section, about 3 kilometers, long, that feels wrong. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just different. Trees seem to fall there more often, sometimes blocking the path in ways that don't make sense. Animals behave strangely. I've seen deer freeze in place, watching me with unblinking eyes. I've seen fresh wild boar tracks appear in spots where there were none moments before. And every time I pass through, I feel like something unseen is watching me. I always speed up through that part. I don't run. I don't want to make it obvious that I'm scared. But I don't linger either. I tell myself it's just my imagination, just nerves, just the eerie silence of the deep woods playing tricks on me. And it's worth pushing through because what comes next is stunning. A valley so dense and untouched, it looks like something out of a fairy tale. It's my favorite part of the hike. But last week things were different. From the moment I entered that cursed section, the chills started. My gut tightened, my pulse quickened. I picked up my pace, focused on getting through. I was almost out, probably 80% of the way when a deer stepped onto the path ahead of me. At first, I didn't think much of it. Deer are common here, but this one didn't just cross. It stopped, stood dead center on the trail, facing me, watching me. And I swear, to you, it felt like it was telling me something. It wasn't startled. It wasn't cautious. It was just there, blocking my way, staring at me like it knew me, like it was telling me to turn around. I hesitated. Every instinct in me screamed to listen. But I wasn't about to turn back. I was so close to the valley, to the good part of the trail. I couldn't let some weird deer freak me out. So I stepped off the trail, moving through the trees to go around it. My boots crunched over twigs and damp leaves, my breath tight in my chest. I didn't look back at the deer. I didn't want to. And when I finally stepped back onto the trail, past where it had blocked me, I exhaled in relief. But something was wrong. I couldn't calm down. Even after the deer was behind me, that feeling didn't fade. If anything, it got worse. My skin crawled, my ears strained for sounds that weren't there. I glanced back every few steps, expecting to see something, anything following me. The trees pressed in on all sides, the shadows stretched long, and no matter how far I walked, that feeling stayed. I kept going, telling myself I was being paranoid. After a few kilometers, I started thinking about my next rest stop, about getting some food, about shaking off this ridiculous anxiety. And then I reached the river. Normally, it was just a small stream, something I could hop over or step through with no problem. But thanks to weeks of heavy rain, it had transformed into a churning, icy flood. The path I needed to take was completely submerged. My stomach dropped. The temperature was near freezing. There was no way I could wade through without risking hypothermia. And that's when I realized something much, much worse. I had no other way out. The valley was boxed in by steep cliffs and dense forest. There were no alternate routes, no shortcuts. My only option was to go back through that section. I checked my watch. 2 hours until sunset. Not enough time to get out. Before dark, the idea of walking that trail at night was unthinkable. So I ran. I ran faster than I ever have in my life. I didn't care about the branches whipping at my face, the roots threatening to trip me, the sounds of animals scattering in the underbrush. I didn't care about the deer. I didn't care about whatever unseen thing had been watching me. All I cared about was getting the hell out of that forest before night fell. By the time I reached my car, my lungs burned, my legs ached, and my hands shook so badly I fumbled with my keys. I didn't even take a second to catch my breath. I just threw myself inside, locked the doors, and sped away without looking back. I don't know what's in that part of the forest. I don't want to know. But I do know this. I will never, ever hike that trail again.